up and forcing them to scan in more than one location. As we can see, he is starting to put up some missile turrets inside his base though, so he will have more detection available, although that is not going to help him out if they try to attack this main army out at the front here. But we will see if they make a push here with any more DTs. I don't see any more coming up to join this army right now, and it looks like there are not currently any on the map for the fake IdrA, so it looks like he has actually moved into a high Templar tech now, supporting his sentries and stalkers.
That's kind of an interesting move that he made. You know, he spent so much gas on that Dark Shrine, and then he spent just an absurd amount of gas, additional gas, to build that Templar archives.
Right, which as you can see, Psystorm is not yet complete, and it doesn't even look like he's researching yet. So perhaps he just has this so that he can use feedback and possibly even just to create some Archons here shortly as well. But for whatever reason, he does not yet have the Psystorm research going, but he does have Zealot legs upgrading right now, despite the fact that I don't believe he has any Zealots, and a big battle going on between the two teams right now. Right in the middle, siege tanks just pounding away on these Hydralisks, and it looks like they're going to back up to the high ground, but unfortunately with those Medivacs and Raven in the air, they will be able to see on the high ground and get up there with those siege tanks. So it looks like the fake IdrA and Kephalos are going to have to do a little bit of a retreat here and get to the other side of this ridge so that they do not get hit by those siege tanks.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Zerg and the purple Protoss player, they're going to need to get some melee units, maybe just some wings or some zealots up there to take out those tanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And one quick thing to note too, actually, Proxemo and SpeedyS both have their expansion set up, but do not have anything mining at them yet practically. Looks like Proxemo is building some, and there's one lone probe mining the extractor.
Yeah, here comes the transfer finally.
Down. Yeah, so, but do note that at the other bases with IdrA and Kephalos, they both have a decent amount of workers on their minerals and gas there, so there is definitely going to be a slight income advantage here for a little bit. As you can see on that income overlay, there's about a 300 to 400 advantage between the two teams per player, so that is definitely a significant advantage, and we could see them just overrun their opponent if they're able to macro up a decent sized army with those extra resources.
I know we think this is fake IdrA, but I did just notice on the unit tab that IdrA has 45 probes at this point, which is about 20 more than anybody else, so you know he's macroing just like IdrA does.
Indeed he is, but again, APM, right there, 82 average. That's definitely not the real IdrA. He may want to be IdrA, but I can't say that he is. And despite the fact that IdrA is such a great player, I just cannot stand his bad manners. So I am not a fan of IdrA myself, but once again, I respect him as a gamer. I know that he is very, very good. So anyways, moving back to this game, it looks like Kephalos has decided to pretty much stick with solely Hydralists right now. Which Hydras are definitely strong, but in and of themselves they can be very weak, especially against siege tanks. As you mentioned, 13, I would like to see, and it looks like he's just saying he's going to get some mutas out. I would definitely like to see some mutas in the mix here, and possibly some speedlings as well, because speedlings for those siege tanks would be very, very useful. Although they would definitely need something to deal with these Marines. I don't know if Mutalisks is going to be the right answer here, because there are a decent amount of Marines, and when Marines have Stimpak and the Medivacs overhead, sometimes it can be very, very difficult to deal with those using only Mutalisks.
Yeah, definitely. With that amount of Marines, you're going to have a pretty good-sized Mutalisk army to take out those tanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And taking a look at the units overlay here, we can see that there are some Vikings starting to come out for the Blue Terran player Proxemo, and he does have a total of 6 tanks now and 4 Ravens. I'm not sure why he has so many Ravens. He currently only has 1 out with his main army right now, and it looks like SpeedyS is moving up to join him here on this frontal assault. But one other thing to notice is that there are now 7 High Templars for the fake IdrA here out at the front of his base. He does have a few more DTs in the mix as well, and a lot of Zealots, so it looks like he is going to be utilizing that Zealot charge very much so, as he is producing a lot of Zealots on the ground right now.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what he's going to need. We'll see if he can get some good Psystorms down here. Not using it yet. There we go, finally.
There goes 1 Psystorm, 2 Psystorms, 3, 4. So a lot of Psystorms. Oh my goodness, so many Psystorms going down on that SpeedyS army. And I would, oh yeah, there's some other great Psystorms on those.
Some very well played Psystorm.
Oh my goodness, and you can just see how much Marines melt to Psystorm against Protoss. So they won that battle very convincingly with the use of that Psystorm in addition to the Speed Zealots. Unfortunately, he did lose most of his speed upgraded Zealots because those units were in the mix with the Psystorms when they were cast. So he did lose a lot of his own units, but they also did quite convincingly win that battle. So it looks like they are moving out across the map here, possibly going to try to press their advantage for the time being. And a decent amount of Mutalisks now moving out for Kephalos here, and it looks like he has some Zerglings scouting out to see if there's any hidden expansions on the map.
Yeah, I absolutely love that answer to those siege tanks, that Psystorm. You know, when those siege tanks are in siege mode, they obviously cannot move, and you get the full effect of that Psystorm when you throw one down on those.
Yeah, absolutely. Psystorm is a lot more difficult to accurately cast since it is so much smaller now and a lot weaker than it was in StarCraft 1. It just makes it a lot more difficult to use it effectively. But against stationary units like the siege tank, as you mentioned, it is definitely going to do its full damage, despite the fact that it doesn't do as much damage. You can definitely do some do some serious damage with it. But anyways, glad to play IdrA, even if we didn't offer a challenge. So apparently these guys are still convinced that this is indeed the real IdrA, although, like I said, I am not at all convinced that this is the real IdrA. But anyways, to each their own, I suppose. SpeedyS does have one observer overhead of this Protoss army up on the ridge here, and it looks like he is able to see most of, or at least some of this Zerg army off to the side, or at least the creep that is supporting it. So he is aware that that's over there. But SpeedyS losing a good portion of his main base with that attack. He did lose a couple pylons, it looks like, and a lot of probes at the main mineral line, but apparently there was some, I must have missed that, he must have gotten some very good Hunter-Seeker missiles off on those along with his Marines, because only one Mutalisk making it away from that attack.
Yeah, I was curious if that was why he was going to build such a huge amount of the I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here.
The Ravens?
Oh, the Ravens, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Ravens indeed can be very, very lethal against Zerg units, especially units that clump together a lot, like those Mutalisks. They clump together in the air when you're moving them around, and if you can get a couple of good Hunter-Seeker missiles on them, you can actually dominate a huge, huge amount of Mutalisks with only a couple of Hunter-Seeker missiles. And it looks like Kephalos is actually going to move up into the base of SpeedyS right now, and a lot more Psystorms going down. He must have taken out all the infantry that was remaining for Proxemo here, and the last few Ravens that he has right now starting to go down, and as you can see, some turrets going down here, and also trying to get out some Hunter-Seeker missiles, but that is ultimately not going to be enough to hold off this final assault, and it looks like SpeedyS has left the game, and his ally Proxemo will most likely be short behind him, because he has just been absolutely run into a corner, and his main base is mined out, and there are already Zealots up in his main base, and this expansion is going down very quickly. So anyways, looks like this game is going to go to the fake IdrA here and Kephalos. I've been saying the fake IdrA the whole time. I don't know. What do you think, 13? Is this the real IdrA or not?
You know, I've been thinking about that a little bit. Maybe he just kind of sucks with Protoss. I mean, not that this guy sucks right now, but I just would expect an IdrA player to be, you know, a little bit more effective in StarCraft 2. But, you know, maybe he just plays only as Zerg, and, you know, his Protoss play isn't as strong.
I don't know. Maybe you can give him a couple tips next time, but
I will not be able to do that.
Anyways, I am not convinced yet that this is indeed the real IdrA, but to each their own, I suppose. But anyways, this was kind of a fun 2v2 to watch. There was a lot of really good Psystorm in that. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. GG.
GG.